Alright, so the main priority this weekend is the bear defenses. We got our window covers here. We're trying to get fancy with it and do an X across the center of the other boards. We're going to use our chop saw, however our chop saw requires our big generator, and our big generator won't start. We've had it quite a few years and honestly never done any maintenance on it, and the gas is old and whatever. It doesn't have electric start. That's a pain to get started. We gave up. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, just a triangle and a skill saw, and try to get it done.
So we need to flip this side out?
Yep.
Yeah. Should we see what angle is this?
I really don't know the best way to do this.
Me neither. Do we use like
I'm wondering if you can just put the
thing
yeah.
to do like this?
I'm also thinking we just do one, not two.
Like,
Just
but what
this
about
one this way and not one that way.
Oh.
Maybe alternate it, like this one goes that way and that one goes the other way.
That's fine, because we could use this as our board across the door thing.
Yeah.
Alright. So there's that.
So as you can see, we're totally making this up. It's kind of the mantra of our whole cabin build, but just figure it out and do it. Probably not the right way, but it's a way.
It's our way. Okay, so there you go.
What could go wrong?
Make those cuts. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Step on it.
I will step on it. Okay, should we try it first before we cut again?
Nope.
Okay. There we go.
Look at that. It's like we knew what we were doing.
Now can we do it to the other side?
That'll be the real test.
Yeah. What did I just say?
A bit closer of an angle to see the work in progress. Essentially what I did was using the square, line up where I thought that cut would be in line with that crossboard and the edge, and marked it, and then he cut it and we slid it in. Were they exactly the same angles? Absolutely not. Did they fit? We'll see. From this angle, you get a better view of exactly how I made those marks to make those cuts. Really technical.
Let's see what she's got.
Not perfect.
Not perfect, but
You're off by like half an inch on this side.
if we do that, I see. You're saying it's short?
If you line that side up, yeah.
Or we just do this.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
As you can see here, it really doesn't look so bad with how it fit.
Honestly, it's just meant to be added support for these. You know? It's our first one.
Good enough. So then we attached it with screws and it's gonna end up working.
Alright, well, I'll hold it up for everybody to see. So it's not perfect by any means, but it's really just for added stability of the boards going that way. So there it is. Just decided we would do one across.
Yeah, I think that'll be fine.
Now let's see if we can do it again. Moving along to the front window covers, I tried to replicate what I did last time by measuring and making the cuts to try to line up the angles.
We are making these fit.
Yeah.
Are they beautiful?
No.
Repeat the process. Make up a measurement, cut it. As I mentioned, I'm sure there is some accurate way to actually figure out what these angles could be so that it's equal, but in the end, it didn't really matter.
Okay, let's see if she fits. You know, there's probably some like scientific way
Oh, I'm sure there
to
is.
figuring out like what this angle would be.
Well, would you look at that? It's not bad.
It's better than the other one.
It's nice.
It's not as centered.
Doesn't matter. If we can replicate it on the other one, it would look.
So hold that board up to this one.
Oh
And we'll see
yeah.
if it's the same.
And then we can
Close
just.
enough.
Then we can just trace it.
Nope.
Oh.
It's a 3/4
Well,
of an inch
it's
short.
the same thing, but we just need to go a little further.
So if we
trace
cut
this
that
then.
angle, and then yeah, we can trace it.
So the plan to make them somewhat uniform was to trace the one that we had just cut onto our board for our next cross beam, and then adjust it a little bit so it fit that angle, and let's see how it worked out. If you recall in our last video when we were putting these together, there was a longer set of boards that we were using, so we didn't have to trim off the excess for the window coverings, and I intended for that to be on the back window, but we didn't really think of it once we got out here. So this one ended up being just a little bit longer, which meant that we had to have that crossboard a little bit longer than the one underneath of it so that they could match when we put them on the top. But since the actual distance of the length of that board is so minimal, you're never going to notice when we put them up there. But in the end, we ended up making that second measurement and cut so that they share the exact same angle. Let's check it out and see how they look and fit.
Alright, moment of truth. Ah! Is it perfect? No, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's a similar design. What do you think?
Yeah.
We did it!
So now I can
And
hold it up. I'll screw it from the other side while you hold it in place.
yeah, you wanna lift that square off?
Because we didn't want any of the screws visible from the outside when you look at it, we had to hold it up and attach it from the opposite side, which made it a little bit more challenging, but it looks nice.
So we'll start on these windows because they're going to be easier than the back window.
And we don't know exactly what we're doing.
True.
We have 2 hinges each, right?
Yep.
We have some 8-inch T-hinges that we're going to be using to hold these suckers up. So they are extremely heavy. Probably, I don't know, a lot. They're very heavy.
So I think what we're going to have to do is take, which has worked out that we have 3 extras. Well, I don't know what we would scrounge for shit.
Well, I don't know if we need that wide, but okay, let me hear your idea.
Is we put one here.
Yeah.
So that the hinge can go from here to here.
Yeah.
So that it's flat level.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Okay. Yeah, do you think that's good enough, or could we get away with smaller?
The good news with that is it'll all match.
Okay. Alright, that's fine.
So let's grab one. And you can hold that up and I'll hold this up and see what it looks like.
Okay.
So because the logs are all different sizes as far as how they're lined up along the cabin, we needed to create shims that would go behind the long vertical 2x6 board that you see me placing right there as a test fit. So we decided to lay out a spare board, make a whole bunch of cuts because we anticipated we'd have to do this on all of the different windows. And once we made those cuts, we then attached those shims to bring that vertical board more level with the surface of the window coverings, and we used very long screws after to attach that long board right there that you see me holding up again. We used 6-inch and log screws, so what we did was we brought that so that it would be level with this window covering. We installed the hinges first, and then as my husband held it up, which it's pretty heavy, I was trying to screw this together as rapidly as possible with the drill so that he wouldn't have to hold it for too long, and it worked, and now it covers it perfectly. We test fit it, and then we installed on the other side our lock mechanism. So to install the lock, we used some spare 2x4s that we found around, and we only needed a small piece, as you see right there, and we set it up so it looked like it was about in the middle. We just eyeballed it. The 2x4 ended up being exactly the same height as the window covering, so it was perfect. We attached that and it closed perfectly. Sorry the generator's running. It's kind of important to charge our batteries right now, but we got our first one up, I think, for not really knowing what we were doing, as you could see, and just kind of throwing it together and figuring this out of how to get it with uneven logs on this side. Some of them stick out further than others, and so that this was all flush. It honestly does not look that bad at all, and no level was used, and it's pretty goddamn level. I think we did an excellent job. Good job, us. All right, you know the drill now, and so do we. So we end up doing exactly the same thing on the other side. We test fit it, realized, oh, that was on the wrong side. Good thing my husband was thinking. And we ended up installing it on the correct side, thank goodness, by using the shims, and then installed the long vertical board that the hinges would be attached to. After we got everything nice and level, it went much smoother and much quicker this time, now that we had a bit of an idea of exactly what we were doing. Installed all of that and then hung up our hinges and attached it to that vertical board and test fit it, installed the latches on the other side, and voila, we had another one done, and it looks amazing. They look really symmetrical, and once again, no levels were used, and we figured it out. We got the other front window barricade up. We pretty much followed exactly the same idea. Didn't measure, didn't use a level, we just eyeballed it, but you know, it doesn't look bad. These are gonna look pretty good. There they are, all complete. They turned out pretty great, considering we just eyeballed every single thing and just really made it up, as you could see. Eventually, maybe we'll put the rest of the X on, but that's not really crucial for the stability that we have right now. I think it would be pretty difficult for a bear to open that or break through it. And if they do, I commend them for their hard work and effort to get inside, because then at that point they deserve it. It's pretty solid structure. They're heavy. You know, the latch would involve a few different movements. So I think, yeah, we could, exactly. So I think overall this is really good. To hold the window coverings open, we have hook and eyes that we are installing so that when we have it opened, it doesn't blow in the wind. Next up was the door barricade. So we had to block it up so that we could install these brackets that would be mesh with the door frame in order to drop a thick 2x4 through it so that you couldn't push the door in. So let's check it out and see how it turned out. Hey! As you can see, we've got our door barricade installed. That way a bear can't push it open, the board is going to obviously block it, and then we have the additional latches as extra precaution. So I think that, yes, in theory they could remove the board by lifting it off, and then they'd have to also do those other latches. I don't know how determined they'd be, but
I think it'd be more likely to thaw it down.
Probably, yeah. I think that this is pretty solid.
So here we are on the back window now. Luckily we got 4 feet of snow to stand on, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Am I gonna just fall through?
That's possible.
Oh god. Okay, this looks solid, because this is wood.
Just as you imagine, we repeat the process on the back side. We figure out the size of the shims that we need, and then we start to install the other board.
Whoop! Oh, look at that boot full. Will you hold it?
That wasn't the first time or the last time that I kept sinking through the snow in that area while we installed this. So we got that long vertical board on and in place, and then we installed our hinges onto our window covering. And once we got the hinges on, it was a little more challenging to try to fit in that space while my husband was holding it up so that I could attach it to the long vertical board and get it where it needs to go. As you can see, we had to add an additional shim there. It's on the back side, it functions, it works. We could have taken it all off, put it underneath, but we didn't really care. Time was of the essence to get this done before we couldn't get back out here and bears start snooping around. And then we installed our latch. As you can see, it works perfect, and then we are on to installing the hook and eye so that it can hold open. Now that everything is installed, let's try it out and see if it works. Yay! We did it! What you doing, honey?
Just battening down the hatches.
Nice.
We're a pirate ship.
You got the door.
Oh.
You gotta put on the other ones first, though. Do the metal first. Then you gotta pull the door handle towards. Look at that. Nice.